Live from our newsroom, it's the Hard Times Podcast. With Bill Conway and Matt Sankum.
What are you doing nowadays since every band thing is deemed illegal and the government comes and arrests you if you even try to write a song?
Even try. I feel like we have been busier in some ways than ever before. We're home, and so we've been doing we've always been a very DIY band. I think partially because it's how we came up, but also we love doing things on our own, kind of control. For me, especially with art stuff, and we've been doing a lot of music videos, and we just filmed a playthrough of the album that's live that we're going to release when the record comes out because we can't play it. It's funny because I listened to the interview you did with Jim Atkins from Jimmy World, and he was talking about how they had all the behind the scenes stuff of how he's mixing the album playthroughs that they did and filming it and just all the production behind that. It's I don't think we could have done as much on our own if we were touring, but it's funny because I feel like I'm doing the most work that I've ever done personally art wise for the band, but we're making the least amount of money because we're not able to tour or sell merch or do anything like that. But I'm happy at least to be busy in that way. I'd rather be busy and doing things for the band than not. But I also teach art lessons because I'm technically a certified K-12 art teacher in Pennsylvania. And I figured if I'm going to be home, but it's all over FaceTime, which is pretty weird, but I'm staying busy. I definitely don't have a ton of downtime, but.
And your recorded songs are going to blow Jim's out of the fucking water. Are you kidding me? That's what you were thinking when you were listening. This guy doesn't know the fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but.
Well, so what you don't know about Matt is he recently got into watercolors. He recently painted one of our other editors during a meeting, and it's one of the most striking and beautiful portraits I have ever seen.
Keep talking, Bill.
I think he's going to go get it, but oh God, I don't know what to do without him. Once he leaves, I just don't know what to talk about. It's just it gets so flustered. He's my security blanket. But there was a time where I am not an artist. I can't. Most people can't draw hands. I can't draw anything. I can't recognize faces. I think I'm face blind, basically. I don't recognize people ever. But I tried drawing my wife, and she's just mortified by it. Please burn that. I don't know why you think I look like that. And she started plastic surgery consultations after I showed it to her. I was like, no, it's really not that bad. But how are the people that you're teaching over Zoom, how does that work for you? Is it difficult because you're not over somebody's shoulder and able to kind of guide them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also only working with Kit. Oh, sorry, I hope you didn't hear my email notification is so absurdly loud. But I'm working with kids, so the way that I think about it, and this might relate to how you feel as an artist or not an artist, is that most people don't have the art ability beyond an average 12-year-old, because people feel if they're bad at art, they stop doing it. It becomes an elective and not a mandatory thing. Mm-hmm. But the way that I think about art as an art teacher is there are obviously ways to learn how to use the mediums that exist in the world, but the way that you actually use it in expressing yourself through art, or the choices you make when you're making art, there's no good or bad. It's if you have intent, then you're making art, and that is what's good. So I feel even giving these kids the opportunity to do stuff that they might not be able to do. I have a 10-year-old student that loves Bob Ross, wanted to do oil painting, and most kids don't even get to do oil paint throughout their entire career as an artist through school. I didn't, and I chose to do art basically every chance I could. I didn't get to paint with oil paint till college because I took a painting class, and he did amazing. It's without having the opportunity to try a bunch of different things, maybe you just didn't have access to something that you would have felt like you were good at, because it's like all about how you feel about what you're making.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Guys, I have some
What's
horrible
up?
news. Someone has stolen
Oh
my
my
art.
God, it's a
My
heist.
beautiful art. There's been a heist. I don't know how they got in here. This place is under lock and
Did you have
key,
it locked in your
but
guitar
they've-
case?
Fuck, I did let a guy outside of your house borrow a flathead screwdriver not more than 3 weeks ago.
But I have some good news. Luckily, I have a digital version of it, of which I can show the team right here, because we've got this fancy technology. This is my presentation now. Here we go. Are we
Yeah.
ready?
Let's see.
We
it.
are.
There it is.
Oh,
damn.
wow.
Yeah.
Brianna, describe this art for the people at home who aren't watching.
Okay, so there's text, and it
Which
says
is-
my
that's
friend
common, right?
Chrissy with a K, important. And then it's a portrait. I gotta say, the layering in the shirt, like the plaid shirt, I like that. That's nice. What else do you want me to describe? She's got black hair.
You're
Yes.
a teacher, right? You got to give me a grade.
See, that's not how this works. You missed the whole conversation with Bill where I explained that it's about the intent, not the like good or bad visually.
Okay.
I'm not an elitist.
Well, my intent was to get out of a bet that I had lost. So
And did it work?
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, do you do the art layout for like all like the Tiger's Jaw media stuff like that? Because
Yeah.
aesthetically, I've always thought that some of the better layouts that I've seen. I've always enjoyed. I mean, other than the early albums with just like a pizza on the front, not as interesting to me as the later stuff like from Charmer and After.
I've done all of them.
Okay, so I'm sorry about the pizza thing. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. That is actually the second record cover. The first one is a screen print that I did like in art class in high school. And it's funny that ended up being like, I totally get it. Like as like apart from Tiger's Jaw, like why it's called the Pizza Album and like the idea of pizza and pop punk or whatever. But what was funny is like, I did that art thinking like, I'm just going to do digital photographs of like us hanging out as we would have at the time when we were like writing when that record was like, you know, came to life, which at that point when I did that album art, I think had almost been 2 years. So it's like very specific to that, but without knowing that, it literally is just a photograph of pizza. It is probably one of the best looking pizzas I've ever seen. Like, not to toot my own horn here. The best PR for that pizza shop, they don't even like realize it or care. We tried to show them and they literally did not care.
Like they didn't even give you a coupon or
They're
anything.
like, "What is your order? Get out of line if you don't have an order." You're like, okay.
Exactly. That is literally exactly what happened. But I think too, it's like the older I get and like I went to art school, like just kind of I think I've been able to pinpoint more specifically what I want to do with layouts and stuff. Whereas in the earlier days, I literally was just figuring it out as I went because I had never done it before. And there are definitely a few albums where like on the spine of the LP, like the text is the wrong way and stuff like that. But I don't know, like with the record we have coming out next month, like this is the most like cohesive all of the art has felt, but also it's the most time I've had to like really develop it or whatever. But even like the painting for Spin, speaking of paintings, I guess I could unhook this thing. Where is she? Over there in the corner. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
In the frame. So yeah, I like to do it. To me, it's like I rarely like make art or like draw or do stuff like that on my own. I need like an assignment. And I don't think that's like a bad thing because Tiger's Jaw gives me so many opportunities to make art where it's like, it feels like that's like an individual contribution that I can do, especially before I was songwriting in Tiger's Jaw. I was always doing the art or like screen printing t-shirts during, my AP art class. Like just anything like that felt like that was like a role I could fill in the band. And then it's just kind of continued like, 15 years later, here I'm still still doing it, except now I call myself like creative director or something. So slap it on a resume.
I had the same role. I feel very similar to you in a lot of ways, where I learned to use Photoshop because I had to make the templates to put out our CDR and then eventually our 7-inch for my high school band, which never had a Tiny Desk concert. We're called Skull Stomp.
Oh boy,
So,
that's a really good first band name.
Really,
Wow.
real punker, this guy.